And that was a choice of the man who sat in front of me. Mika, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well, thank you.
It's so good to see you again.
Likewise, it's really nice to have you here. It's been quite a while.
It's been a few years actually since I performed live. I think for you.
Yeah, it was BBC Radio 2 in
exactly.
concert, and you did a big show for us a couple of years ago now. I think
3 years ago.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
Wow. So you've literally just jumped off a bike.
I jumped off a motorbike. Yeah, I'm a little bit windswept, but I was filming a video all day for a new song called "Good Guys."
Okay, so not the single that we're playing on Radio 2 at the moment.
The next one.
Okay.
The one because the one it's kind of strange. I mean, my life's a bit confusing at the moment, but it's
Your
fun.
life is always confusing.
But like in Italy, for example, and other places, they're going with another song called "Good Guys," and in France, most of the world is "Talk About You," the one that's here. But
okay.
it's just everyone's going in different orders. It's just a bit mad.
Oh, that must be quite confusing.
It's really confusing. But it's
so
okay.
The video today, then, what were you doing? What was the concept?
Well, the idea was that it would be the simplest video I've ever made, which of course turned into the most complicated thing I've ever done in my life. It's me and about 12 dancers, and we're in a big old warehouse in East London, and we're illustrating the song, and I'm like a marionette in their hands, and they change me, they dress me, they undress me, they turn me into different people, a prisoner, a king. Ooh. And they literally make me fly as an astronaut and throw me around. And
does it involve you actually flying, or is it all green screen? You're not
no,
suspended?
It's all real. I actually learned how to be manipulated in that way for the first time ever. I was terrified because I'm so tall.
Yeah.
No one ever picks me up. I pick everyone else up. And for the first time in my life, I've been picked up. Literally, I can say I've been picked up for the first time in my life. It felt great.
And was it today? Have you got many days? Is it how?
It was just today. Yesterday I was shooting on the beach in France, and so it's all every day is in a different place at the moment. But when I came into the studio today, everyone, including your team and everyone downstairs, were like, "Have you seen Joe yet? When was the last time you saw it?" Which got me really worried because I was terrified I would walk into the studio and find you looking completely different.
Oh no! I'm still
exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly the same. Right, let's play the current single then from Mika. This is "Talk About You."
Cool.
Walk through the city.
There you go, there's your record, Mika.
It is.
How does that feel listening to it?
It feels good. It was the first time I've heard it on UK radio. I know it's been spot played, and I just heard today that it's Record of the Week on Radio 2 next week. So,
yeah.
But again, it's with you.
Yeah, I know,
the first time I ever got played on radio and I heard one of my records ever on radio was on your show. And it was a song, it was Relax off my first album, and you played it first. And it was the strangest reaction because suddenly it wasn't me anymore. The record wasn't mine.
It had been unleashed to the world, so you lost the ownership of it.
It was so strange.
Yeah. But you're used to that feeling now. So tell me about the album then. It's called No Place in Heaven.
No Place in Heaven. This is my 4th album, and I made it in Los Angeles. I've made 4 albums now in Los Angeles, and the plan was for me to work with I've had a pretty crazy schedule these past few years because I've been making a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. I actually took myself out of isolation, which I had kind of by accident found myself in.
So you were in isolation?
Kind of, yeah. I'd isolated myself. I turned around. I was like, I don't know. Just I thought that I was protecting myself by saying no to everything, but in the end,
hang on, why did you need to protect yourself?
Well, just because I thought, if you just kind of like say no to everything and you just kind of keep yourself hidden away, then when you sit down at a piano, you'll be able to write with the same intentions that you've always had. But it was the opposite, actually. By saying no to everything and kind of building some sort of strange ivory tower, I started to think more about people's opinions of what I was doing than ever before. So I decided to dismantle that entirely. And I said yes to all these crazy adventures, X Factor in Italy, without knowing how to speak Italian.
See, I read this, seriously. You learned to speak Italian in what? How long?
In 2 months.
Get out of
it was really fun. It was just mad.
Say something in Italian to me.
Possiamo parlare in italiano adesso. Prima non potevo parlare, ma adesso posso.
I have no idea what you just said.
And then the voice in France, in French.
Okay.
And then all these other crazy things. So the time came for me, I was like, okay, I'm having a really good time. It's time for me to channel that energy and make another album. It's the 4th album. I was supposed to work in really big studios with a lot of very famous Swedish writers. And I'm sitting there and a week in, I was like, this isn't for me. I'm going back to the house. Rent this house in LA, completely by accident, found it online. They were quite fussy about me getting access to this house. I had to say who I was, what I was intending on doing. Anyway, I go and I buy myself a computer and I buy myself a cheap microphone and I rent a piano and I start making this record.
In this house?
In this house.
What was the house like?
Well, it was a beautiful little three bedroom little 50s bungalow. No, nothing crazy. It just... We had to stop every hour and a half or every hour because all the star buses were parked outside giving a tour because inadvertently I had rented Orlando Bloom's house. And every time I walked out of the house and there were all these tourists outside, they would freak out because they thought I was Orlando Bloom.
You both got dark curly hair, yeah.
Exactly. And it became a running joke. And so we started to play tricks on the tourists. So I was like, if they think I'm Orlando Bloom, I'm going to go for it. Kind of just...
You should have called the album Orlando Bloom. That would have been great. Wow, so it was very kind of lo-fi in the end.
Super low. Well, it started
to a
lo-fi.
point.
Yeah, for a few months I just stayed. And then, of course, I finished it in big studios and with Greg Wells, who's my old collaborator from the first album. And so, you know, it was good. By limiting my palette, by limiting what I had available for me to make a record, it provoked creativity. It made me kind of be a lot more playful with my lyrics and look for good melodies.
Okay, and what was inspiring you? What kind of things were you listening to? What was going into this album?
a lot of music from you know, stuff that was made in the 70s and the late 60s. There's a certain bravery in that pop, that singer-songwriter pop from that era. I mean, you know, early Elton John and things like that. And it's kind of this timelessness where you don't really care or know if those records were made 10 years ago or in 10 years' time, and it doesn't really matter because the songs are the things that matter the most. And so I really plonked myself at a piano and I was like, I'm going to build something from the piano, and if it can survive so simply, then I know it's a good enough song. No pomp, no circumstance, no edifice, no protection with, you know, production, just songs.
The purity of the song, the strength of that song. Right, that takes us very nicely into the next song that we're going to play, which is your choice, and it's from Carole King.
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
I had the privilege of meeting Carole King. And I wasn't prepared. I wasn't told that I was going to meet Carole King, and so I was literally reduced to a babbling 6-year-old child because I have very few heroes. But that lady, that queen, is definitely one of my heroes.
When it comes to songwriters, there's hardly any greater.
And it's just amazing. And I was just looking at her, and I don't know. I ate like 8 or 9 pieces of bread. Because I was so nervous, I just kept eating. That's all I remember.
Well, you really bloated afterwards.
I don't even remember the conversation. All I remember is eating bread and butter, and feeling really sick. I had to go to the bathroom and be sick because I had eaten so much bread sitting with Carole King that I wasn't listening to her. I was just stuffing bread in my mouth with butter. And halfway through, I was like, "I'm really sorry. You must excuse me." And I went to the bathroom. I was ill.
Right, here she is. This is Carole King.
What an introduction! Song. That was terrible.
That's Carole King and So Far Away, and that's the choice of Mika. We're just rattling through lots of gossip and chatting all the way through these songs.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful choice, Carole King and So Far Away. So we talked a bit about the album, and you just mentioned about the TV shows that you've been doing as well.
Yeah.
So doing The Voice in France, you have so many fans in France. We've just been besieged by people on Twitter and text.
Cool.
Yeah, so much love for you there.
Well, everyone listens to Radio 2 all over the world. It's amazing.
I know, it's a real joy to be. And X Factor, doing the X Factor in Italy.
Yeah.
And there are rumours about X Factor in this country here.
Right.
So you know I got to ask. Are you doing it?
You got to ask.
You're going to give me an answer. Okay. Right, so obviously there is a new series. We know that Louis Walsh is not going to be returning, and there is a vacant chair, and, you know, obviously you'd be quite well suited to do it. So you're not going to say anything. Listen to the silence. Listen to the silence. Right, fine. Okay.
If there's any more Carole King.
Okay, talk about Carole King. You just read into that silence whatever you wish.
No.
Right, Carole King. Tell me about Carole King. We were just talking about the Brill Building.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Brill Building. What's amazing is that, I mean, out of this building, so many people were Neil Sedaka, Barry Cynthia Mann, of course, Jerry Goffin. I mean, they wrote the pop songs of that decade. You know, of like 2 decades almost. they wrote in little white cubicles with a piano, and apparently they used to compete against each other. This amazing documentary that was made, and also I know Radio 2.
We just did one.
And it's just amazing that, you know, these massive records came out of like a bunch of catty people fighting and ridiculously competitively writing so that who could write the best song that day in their cubicles. It's mad. It's not like that anymore.
Did the songs flow easily when you were writing for this album?
For this album, it was very easy. It was
and what kind of things are they? Observational, or were they very? Is it a personal album?
Very open. It's very candid. Among those choices that I made was this kind of like brutal honesty to kind of talk about my life, talk about my personal life, from everything from kind of my family to sexuality to everything, and put it into my own record without any deflection. And it's quite a bridge to cross, you know. It's quite a path to go on, at least for me it was, and to put that into your songs. So I just wanted something candid. I always say it takes guts to be playful, and especially as you know, now I'm 31. And when you first met me, how old was I?
Oh my gosh, you were about 19 or something?
No, actually, yeah, because you gave me that first gig as well. It was Little Noise.
Yeah.
And it was me and Amy Winehouse, and I was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
And it was, and now I'm 31, so we've known each other for like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow, you've been around my house and played Mr. and Mrs. at one point as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did. In your very girly bedroom. I feel sorry for your husband.
This is when I was at Radio 1 and we did the Live Lounge tour, but it was round at my house. So you came round the night before, and we all sat there playing Mr. and Mrs. And I had my ridiculous dog, which is still around.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so he's still alive. But yeah.
Still as ridiculous.
Still fat, basically. Still fat. So let's play another song. And you've chosen a whole host of songs, but I'm going to ask you to look at the list and choose one that you think would work now.
I think, do you know what? I'm going to play a classic, amazing song by Paul Simon. I think this is perfection in terms of, like, you know, the culture clash between Paul Simon and this record that he made. This is Diamonds on the Soles of His Shoes.
It's a joyful song.
It makes me want to sing along. I will, actually.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to take your microphone down.
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy.
It's Paul Simon and Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. Choice of Mika, who's my guest on the show this evening. So you were talking about how you kind of shut yourself away and you wanted to isolate yourself. Is that because you had struggled with where you'd got to in your path and people's perception of you?
A little bit, and also because I was so afraid of doing interviews. I was so afraid of doing television and all these things that would put my personality out there that it kind of became a monster in my head.
Why? What were you afraid of?
I don't know anymore. I think
Is it because you weren't being honest? You weren't being yourself?
No, I was always being myself. And if anything, I had a lot of things in my personal life to consolidate and to deal with, and the gap between I made a promise to myself since turning 30 that I would really bridge the gap between the person that I am in my music and on stage and the person that I'm in real life. I would bring them absolutely close together, put the two together in a way that was really, so that I could actually, grow up the way that I want to. I don't know why it was that. It's a tough transition. It's really tough. You make a record. I started working when I was 11 years old. I started in opera, and I never stopped until I was 15 and a half. And then my voice, I made a transition, and then I was in classical music. I made this strange album with a lot of people who just wanted to help me, and then boom, it changed. And
I know. And I guess you came out and you had so much kind of adulation and kind of lots of people really excited, and then you have people who start being really cynical and really horrible, and it must be such an awfully emotional roller coaster.
I always
and you're
polarized.
Happy with that.
And I don't mind polarizing because I don't seek for validation in opinions, and I think that's really important. And it's also it's something that I've become more comfortable with as well. So I don't mind. I really don't care.
I guess when you do the TV shows, like in France, then people absolutely see who you are.
Oh, you're under so much scrutiny. But the great thing there is that we're really free to choose the songs we want, to dress the way that, I wear Valentino couture. I started a whole collaboration with Valentino now, and every night it's a different suit. And although it's like Savile Row perfection in the silhouette, what's on it is completely nuts. But I make them sing unknown songs, everything from, a classic song to songs about the gossip to, just we have a lot of freedom. And I think that's good because it can be a good reflection of who I am and my musical tastes.
Yeah. Right, listen, I've got loads of questions from your fans, so I should go through these if that's okay about you. This is from Rosie. Can you ask Mika whether he'll be doing any more UK shows this year and whether he's looking forward to playing Hyde Park?
Yeah,
talk about, people just want to know when they can see you and where.
Well, I'm playing British Summertime Festival, which is at Hyde Park on 21st of June, and that's with Kylie and with Chic, Nile Rodgers, and with Grace Jones.
Proper party night.
That's and the years and years as well. It's pretty awesome as a lineup, and so we're doing that, and then I'll be announcing more shows in very shortly for the UK.
For the UK,
a bunch of shows in the autumn as well, which is it's about time.
It is about time. It's been a while.
Well, I mean, the tour started in America, in New York and Brooklyn and LA last week, and then next week we start in Asia as well. With some
So where are you playing? What are you doing?
I'm doing the Olympic Hall in Seoul, which is like, so far, I think 15,500.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I just played 1,400 in Los Angeles. Now I have to go without any kind of warm up straight into the fire. And then we're going to Japan, and then we're doing mainland China as well for the very first time. Finally got government approval to play there.
You have to have approval to play there, yeah.
Oh yeah, even my set lists, everything.
Okay.
They're watching everything, which is fine. I don't mind. I mean,
what a special show that will be.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Right, other questions. What's your favourite song to perform live? Asks Alex in Shropshire. Favourite song? Which one do you absolutely relish?
A kind of odd, obscure song from my second album called Toy Boy.
Why? Why so?
Because it's really darkly funny. It's just a gothic fairy tale that, for some reason... Oh, and a song called Origin of Love.
Oh, I know that one. I love that one.
Yeah, which live just becomes, quite a tribal thing. So.
Okay, next question. Michael Abbott, who's 19 in Doncaster. My question is, what's your writing process like? Music first, then lyrics, or the other way round?
Both both at the same time, and they kind of complement each other. The melody will provoke imagery, which then finds its way into lyrics. The lyrics will also provoke melody. It's just one and the same. They're very, very much connected for me.
And he says, you write at the piano, and do you have any favourite places to write? Is there somewhere that you go to?
In my boxers.
In your
in my boxers.
Your boxers or your boxers?
In my boxers. Like, in my, how'd you say, in my underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, or bathing suit if I have to collaborate with somebody else, even if there's no pool. It's kind of, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
It is a bit. Michael also asked, let me ask you this, what's your advice for wannabe songwriters just starting out?
Appetite. Curiosity. It's funny. Firstly, just not being a snob about anything as far as it comes to music. Listen to the new Courtney Barnett record. Listen to the Tobias Dresser Jr. record. Listen to Elton John. Listen to Def Leppard. Listen to everything. Just devour everything like a maniac vampire. At the same time, I remember I met Annie Lennox when I was younger. We actually had the same singing teacher, and I used to arrive before and listen to all her lessons on a weekly basis.
Sneaky.
Which sometimes she would be furious about because she sung badly, or other times she'd be quite nice to me. Anyway, finally I perked up the courage after 3 years to speak to her. I said, what would your advice be to a young songwriter? And she goes, I can't give you any advice. And I was like, God, she's rude. And she's like, it's all about the burning. I was like, what's that? She goes, well, if you have that burning inside you, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And you'll get there, you'll find a path, but just listen to that desire, because that desire is actually the most valuable thing you have over natural talent, over everything, over a bad circumstance you might find yourself in, over a lack of access to funds, anything. That desire, that appetite is essential. The other part of it is not to lose it. Once you get there, once you have that shot, protect that desire and that appetite and that candid attitude more than anything. And so I think that's extremely important.
Great advice. Final question, Jeanette in East Sussex. Your songs make me jump up and down. Love your music. Will you ask Mika what song makes him jump up and down and dance to?
Oh, gosh.
Big dancing song. What do you go crazy to?
When I was younger, believe it or not, it was when I was really young, and I was about 8 years old. It was Nirvana or Shabba Ranks, which is really strange. That was my
grief.
yeah, Shabba, Mr.
The most
Loverman.
unlikely answer.
Shabba. And that was one of my first gigs ever as well, in Virginia
Shabba
Beach.
Ranks.
In a Shabba Ranks concert. He was 2 hours late. I fell asleep on the floor. But now it's probably, oh God, so many things. You know what? My latest major guilty pleasure is the song that was actually recorded like 3.5 years ago. This guy had no intention or idea that the song would be a hit all over the world, and it's an African pop, kind of performer, Omi, and with the song Cheerleader, which is such a nice story as well. That's a guilty pleasure, though.
Okay.
It ain't no Shabba. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Listen, Mika, thank you. It's been so nice to have you here. Lovely
thank
to
you.
chat. And we're going to end with Charles Aznavour. Tell us about this. The French connection.
Charles Aznavour. Well, this is my little kind of like salute to France, and it's part of my childhood as well. Charles Aznavour is Armenian. I'm Lebanese, and he's just a genius, and he's a songwriter that his songs just speak for themselves. And this is She, and it could be seen as a bit old folksy, but just listen to the melody and the way he sings. It's just like, one day we'll turn around and we'll be like, oh my God, this man's madly, he is completely, he's a genius. I said it. I can't say it more times than that.
Listen, get yourself out of here. Thank you. It's been lovely to
Thank
see
you
you,
very
and
much.
good luck. We'll see you soon.